Jacob this time with Neostorm, and the established contender is in the hands of Andrea Mengucci. Andrea's playing 4-color Midrange, which is a very popular deck in the format.
Yeah, and this is a matchup we saw a good amount of actually at the grand finals. Ken Yukihiro was piloting the Neostorm deck, and we did get to see this matchup, this specific matchup, a decent amount. And specifically, I just want to speak to the power of Yasharn. Yasharn is just so good, and it's a card that Mengucci's playing not specifically for this matchup, but it's a card that's still fantastic here and is kind of a splash.
All right, may have lost Paul there for a minute, but hopefully you're still with me. Looks like play is just about to get underway here. As players are taking a look at their opening hands, we can see for Michael, he's got a few key cards here and a few that he doesn't really want to see so much. We've got Fae of Wishes in the opener, but also a Tuk-Tuk Rubble Fort in hand, not really where you want it, and a bunch of lands. Paul, welcome back. We missed you for just a second there.
All right. Well, I am happy to be back. Yeah, the main point that I just wanted to talk about was basically the power level of Yasharn and how important it is for Andrea to get this in play. However, Mike Jacob actually has a slightly different build of the Neostorm deck where he does have access to wish-granting fairies, or Fae of Wishes, excuse me. And this allows him to actually dig into his sideboard and have answers to cards like Main Deck Yasharn, which you have to have expected coming into this event.
Man, they got you so good with that. What was it? Wish granting fairy. Oh, so good.
Oh,
I mean, it's been like a year of this.
Look, it was wish granting fairies for a long time.
That's right. And, people might not remember that you used to work on the play design team, and you would have been exposed to some of these cards during your time there. But that when the people on that team are working on cards, they often don't have the names finalized yet. They either have a preliminary name or like a nickname, and they get finalized by the creative part of that process a little bit later sometimes. And every once in a while, one of them really sticks in your head. It's funny.
Yeah, and you'll see that for maybe another set or two down the line. But since then, I have not been on the play design team for the last few sets, but definitely did some testing with wish granting fairies.
Love it.
Wow. This was a huge draw here. I don't know if you saw, but Mike Jacob was basically on all lands after Mengucci Thoughtseize his entire hand and drew Valakut's Awakening off the top. And now, I mean, he's right back in this.
Yeah, really great top deck there for Michael Jacob. Has a little bit of awkwardness here now, the Combat Celebrant in hand. Again, these are cards that are better served just being in the library so that you can set up your combo a little bit better. But there's a Narset Parter of Veils, so pieces starting to form. The question is,
oh my,
is there anything you can do about the Yasharn Implacable Earth in hand from Andrea Mengucci? And oh God, another Thoughtseize here too.
Yeah, this follow-up here from Mengucci is devastating. The thing is, Mengucci actually had an extra Thoughtseize as backup, but given that he knew MJ had no lands, had all lands rather, it was going to be a dead card. Now he can go Thoughtseize, take your relevant threat in your hand, and then follow that up with the Yasharn.
Wow.
So now Michael Jacob has to find the combo and an answer to the Yasharn if he wants to win this game.
Very difficult to do all of those things from Michael Jacob's perspective. Now, he is not cold to Yasharn though, right? He actually does have sequences that can get it off the battlefield.
Yes, he does have the Fae of Wishes that he can find to get an Ether Gust to remove it from the battlefield. But again, he's so far away from finding the combo. He needs the two pieces for the combo and also needs to find a way to get this Yasharn off the battlefield. And he's still 3 steps away from doing that right now.
Super rough spot here for Michael Jacob. Had to mulligan, kept an extremely land-heavy hand. In fact, it was 5 lands and a spell, and that spell got Thoughtseized, but got right back in it, but now finds himself way behind again. Also worth noting that, the beatdowns are very real here as well from Andrea Mengucci's perspective. He's going to add Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath to the board over the course of the next turn, or maybe even this turn, depending on that graveyard. Yeah, it looks like he can actually make it stick this time as well. So that's 10 power on the battlefield over there for Mengucci.
Yeah, at this point, given what's on the battlefield, I just don't see how Mike Jacobs is going to be able to find everything that he needs in time before that Uro takes over.
There's a Neoform. Now, doesn't have the pieces quite together, but right? You know, you're starting to get a little more interesting. Of course, the Yasharn on the other side of the battlefield is currently making that Neoform not a real magic card. And as long as it's there, that will be true.
Yeah, now Anissa will ensure that this will be a 2-turn clock.
And since there's no combination of cards left for Michael to find there, he is going to go ahead and scoop it up. That is game number 1 going to Andrea Mengucci with his good friend Yasharn. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more right after this. And welcome back to coverage here of the Zendikar Rising Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. We are in round number 3 here on the first day of competition. This marks the last round of Historic before we transition over to Standard for the last 4 rounds of the day. We've got Andrea Mengucci and Michael Jacob facing off with a quick and, I have to say, decisive victory there in game number 1 for Mengu. That wasn't even close. Mengucci had everything that you could want, including Thoughtseize to take Michael Jacob off balance, and then the big pig Yasharn on the battlefield to shut down the combo in combination with Uro for pressure. It wasn't even close, Paul.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where Mike Jacobs' deck needs multiple pieces to be able to actually get the combo going. And Andrea just has so many different ways to try to disrupt that. He's got the hand disruption and Thoughtseize. He has some counter magic. He has removal spells. And additionally, he's got Yasharn in his main as well to not only stop the combo, but also provide a clock. So this just seems like an overall tough matchup for Mike Jacob. And I don't know if he can improve it significantly. He does have multiple copies of Ether Gust that he can bring in, but Mengucci boards into a full 4 Yasharns after sideboard. He is not messing around when it comes to having an answer to the various sacrifice strategies in this tournament.
Yeah, you called it splash damage, right? This isn't necessarily why Yasharn is featured as a 2-of, as a splash, right, in an already 3-color deck in the main, and then another 2 in the board. That's actually for other decks that are more prevalent, like the sacrifice deck. But hey, there's actually quite a few decks that Yasharn randomly hoses, and we've got one of them here.
Yeah.
Let's see if Michael Jacob can put up more of a fight. He has kept his opening hand here on the bottom part of your screen. And how does it look? I see Pact of Negation, land, tuck, land, and a Stormcaller.
So not very good.
No, not
Gotta
great.
go with not very good, but you always have that Valakut's Awakening to kind of filter through all your bad cards and try to get your combo pieces going.
And the untapped land.
Look at Mengucci's hand, though.
He just runs so hot. I just don't. Mengucci is just hashtag blessed. There's no doubt about it.
Right. If he draws an untapped land, he can just slam Yasharn next turn. If not, he can go Thoughtseize with Ether Gust backup and then follow that up with his Yasharn, which would make more sense anyways, as that would allow him to make sure that his Yasharn is protected.
That's right. He knows that there should be some number of cards coming in out of the board here. Now we see an interesting twist here from Michael. He plays Narset minuses and actually finds Nissa, who shakes the world, perhaps giving him another angle to try to win the game beyond just the combo.
Yeah, it looks like he had that as a one of in his sideboard, and probably just to have as a good option to wish for with the Fae of Wishes. But typically, when you have enough bad cards to sideboard out, you can bring in some of those wish targets. You don't want to bring in all of them because you still want to have relevant things to get. But it looks like he's opted to just play the Nissa in the main after sideboard here.
Thoughtseize from Mengucci. Sees a few nice targets here. You can see the Stormcaller, the Nissa, there's a Pact of Negation, and that's actually what he's going to end up taking. Tap land for Mengucci and then a pass of the turn means that the second activation from Narset will go, and it finds, look at that, Shark Typhoon.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Jacob has actually sideboarded into a decent backup plan here of trying to win the game without the combo, as you can see with that Nissa and the Shark Typhoon in his hand.
So interesting question then. I didn't quite catch it while we were actually boarding. Did he just board out of the combo entirely?
I don't think so. I think there are just too many combo pieces for the deck for you to actually reliably be able to just take enough cards out. I do think that you can probably do a little bit of shaving, knowing that it's unlikely that you're going to be able to turbo combo out your opponent, and then try to slot in some additional ways to win the game outside of the combo, cards like Shark Typhoon and the Nissa.
And I mean, you know what I'm thinking here, Paul? I'm thinking we just hard cast that Shark Typhoon. Let's just get that thing on the battlefield. Although now that I look at the hand, there's not a lot of payoff for that, is there?
Yeah.
Just the one Valakut Awakening. This deck is not really built to play that way. So,
as tempting as it may seem, oftentimes it is not correct to hardcast a Shark Typhoon.
In fact, in my experience, it's over 99% of the time.
But every time you have the opportunity, you have 6 mana and you're staring at the Shark Typhoon, you're like, man, the possibilities, right? Yes. But the thing is, you need to cast 3 spells, right, to kind of get back a lot of the tempo you lost. You're making a couple of tokens, so
yeah, the second one, you're feeling like I'm almost there.
You're like even maybe 3 get you ahead. Yeah, so
it is a bit of a tall order. So we see Yasharn on the battlefield here, and look at this. Ether Gust is going to hit Valakut Awakening. As the truth is that Mengu knows about 4 out of the 5 remaining cards in hand, and feels like, I'd rather have you keep that hand rather than getting these things gone.
Yeah, Mengucci really wants, really is hoping for this Yasharn to kind of stick and get that Narset off the battlefield, as he hasn't really been able to run out his Uros here, as currently with Narset in play, he can't draw any cards off the Uro.
Well, this will be interesting to see, because the Yasharn can certainly attack Narset, but as you can see in Michael's hand, at least the Shark Typhoon is one option to be able to try to keep Narset alive, if that's what he values most here.
Yeah, not only that, Mike just wants to draw land number 5 here to run out Nissa if he can. So I think it makes sense for him to go with the cycle here. It's actually interesting. He might have wanted to, if his plan was to chump the Narset anyways, he could have considered just cycling for 1 there. And if he drew something like the opt that he did, he could play the opt as well to make sure he hits land number 5 to cast Nissa this turn.
Yeah, I think we saw him pause a little bit there, perhaps thinking about that particular line of play, though this is an interesting one as well. Maybe he wouldn't even have done it because he wants to get value from the Stormcaller, something along those lines.
Yeah, definitely. He did have the dual caster mages in hand as well, so
Right.
maybe he wanted to just kind of save that as an option.
Okay, so here comes the Stormcaller into Opt. Nice little value play. The Opt's going to get copied. He says, give me priority. But it looks like Mengucci may want to respond to the Seagate Stormcaller trigger and perhaps reduce the options for Michael.
Yeah. And I think the reason why there was a consideration there is because Neoform is a sorcery. So with the trigger on the stack, you actually have the opportunity to kill the Stormcaller before you can call it before your opponent can Neoform.
Yeah, but it's such a tough spot, right? Because Yasharn's sitting there too, and like you would, like Michael would have to be extraordinarily fortunate to be able to get rid of Yasharn, and then also, I mean, maybe there is a sequence, right? Like the card you mentioned before was Ether Gust, right? As one of the main ways for Michael to at least temporarily get rid of Yasharn. Perhaps there's a sequence in there that it could go wrong for Mengucci. He's found a Balaged Recovery off the top, but really what that is a land that he needs to play so that he can enable this Nissa Who Shakes the World, kind of his alternate win condition next time. Now Mengucci has an interesting choice here. Do you just kill the Seagate Stormcaller, which would clear the way to get rid of the Narset?
Yeah, he really wants to do this. It seems to me that he's extremely close here from escaping the oof. All right, well, he has it all here, but
wow.
Yeah, so now he can go Nissa, attack, Uro, escape, most likely.
Goodness sakes. And also get in for 4. Like on life total, like geez, Mengucci has, I have to say, when I think of Mengucci's play style, this deck that he's playing right now is exactly in the center of what he has been so successful at doing over the past few years. These mid-range decks are his wheelhouse.
Yeah, and as you can see with the Breeding Pool and the Zagoth Triumph, exactly enough here. And wow. Yeah.
What a beating that is. Andrea Mengucci just windmill slamming MJ. I mean, that was so brutal.